You're a fly named Yar on a quest in space. You attack the shield of the Kotile's base. But watch out, Yar.
He knows where you are. Yars Revenge is
New from Atari.
Have you played Atari today?
With ion zones and evil drones, there's nothing else like Yars Revenge, the way-out space game that's new from Atari. Who else?
Have you played Atari today?
Okay, so here we go, Yars Revenge. Yars Revenge is a 1982 fixed shooter video game developed by Howard Scott Warshaw, and it was published by Atari. Initially tasked with developing a port of the arcade game Star Castle, Warshaw developed it first, focusing on graphics and then taking in feedback from his co-workers to develop its gameplay. He was also responsible for the backstory of the game, which was adapted as a comic book that was included with the game. Now, I have to say, Yars Revenge is one of the Atari 2600's best games, through and through. Howard Scott Warshaw was truly the master of games, even though he only made 4 games. He certainly managed to push the Atari 2600 to astronomical levels, for example, giving a tremendous amount of depth to a game such as Raiders of the Lost Ark, create an entire world in E.T. and have a boss battle in Saboteur. And all of his games, with the exception of Saboteur, have the distinction of selling 1 million cartridges or more. And if those facts didn't convince you, well, the fact is, all his games, with the exception of E.T., have got very positive reviews from the critics. But anyway, enough of this crazy talk, let's have a look at the game. So, Yars Revenge is part of the subgenre of shooter games called either the fixed or single screen shooter. Yars Revenge differs from many other similar popular games from that era, such as Space Invaders, Galaxian or Gorf, as it has its gameplay on the main axis of conflict orientated horizontally rather than vertically. Now, the main player, yourself, controls Yar, a fly-like object, which can be moved in any direction on the screen. And the screen, well, it wraps vertically. And the primary goal in Yars Revenge is to break a path through the energy shield and destroy the Quotile with a hit from the Zorlon cannon. Christ, who makes up those names? The shield is the object on the right side of the screen, shaped like an arc or a shifting rectangle. It is made up of cells, and to do this, the player can fire energy missiles shot from the Yar, which can destroy the cells in the shield or by directly coming into contact with them, allowing Yar to devour them. Once a clear path to the Quotile behind the shield is open, the cannon can be readied by either eating a cell or moving Yar over to the Quotile. Now, each player starts with 4 lives. And when Yar is hit by items fired by the Quotile, such as a guided missiles called destroyer missiles and the swirling pinwheels called swirls, the player then loses a life. The destroyer missiles are continuously on the screen, while the swirl is something the Quotile transforms itself into and can be destroyed by the Zorlon cannon. The cannon appears on the left side of the screen and moves with a direct line with Yar, putting the player in the line of fire. The player must aim at the Quotile and dodge out of the way, as having Yar hit by it makes him lose a life. There's also a colourful band down the centre of the playfield, which is the neutral zone. So when the player manoeuvres the Yar within it, they are protected from the destroyer missiles, but you cannot fire your weapons. Now, a secondary task is to gain a high score from earning points in the game. And points are collected by destroying an energy cell, a Quotile or a swirl. High scores are indicated by changes in gameplay. The swirl activates more frequently when the player reaches 70,000 and 230,000 points, and the enemy shield changes colours from blue to grey to pink when certain point thresholds are met. There are also several variations of the game that the player can set by adjusting the A and B switches on the console. Variations of the game include have the game adjust the speed of both the destroyer missile and the swirl, the frequency of how often the swirl appears, and a mode called Ultimate Yars. And in this version, well, the Zorlon cannon bounces back shots from the shield if it hits it, and Yar must collect units of energy called Trons to summon the cannon. They are collected by eating a cell, touching the quartile and catching a Zorlon cannon shot after it bounces off the shield. Well, that doesn't sound particularly simple, does it? Now, what do I think of this game? Well, regarding the gameplay, Yars moves fast, but not too fast to make the gameplay frustrating. Yars can also move in 8 directions, which is good because it makes gameplay slightly more at ease. Yars can get killed by his own cannon, the quartile swirl and the bullet. But one thing is, this eventually gets very hard. I mean, very hard. But mind you, not impossible. And it is fair to say that many games lose their appeal for being nigh near impossible. For example, fast food, enjoyable at first but impossible 2 minutes later. And unlike games like Sword Quest, which are very hard to understand, Yars Revenge barely needs a read of the manual, so that's good. But for me overall, it is incredible how simple but addicting this game is. Howard Scott Warshaw knew how to push the limits of the Atari 2600 like never before, and this game shows it. And with regards to the graphics, well, the graphics are about as good as they get on the Atari 2600. Yars looks like a fly, which is the character he is representing. I have to say, I did like the animations, you know, like Yars flapping his wings, Yars dying, and the swirl spinning and the wall moving around the place. And the quartile looked just like an evil starship. Oh, and the Zorlon cannon and the wall are just brilliantly multicoloured, pretty good. I suppose my only minor complaint is that there is a very faint but a little annoying flicker. I suppose I didn't like that part, but other than that, everything is perfect. Spot on. And on top of that, the sound effects, well, they are superb. There's a very realistic humming noise and a nice beat to it too. And the quartile transformation noise into the swirl sounds pretty solid also. And the cannon noise, well, I don't know why the same sound effects can be found in so many games, but it gets the job done. But I have to say that explosion sound effect, really like an 8-bit version of a thunderclap, except with a catchy beat. And finally, the death sound, well, I don't know how Howard managed to create a completely original sound effect under a horrible sound chip, but he did it. Clever fella that Howard, and he also done a good Raiders march and a flying theme in the other 2 games. Pretty decent, pretty good. So, wow, what a game. From the ingenuity of the game itself, to the absolutely beautiful sound effects, to the visually appealing graphics, to the addicting but fast gameplay, this game is the reason you should appreciate the Atari 2600. For me, it's just so hard to say anything bad about this game. So what can I say? It's one of the best games on the Atari 2600, and maybe all time, who knows? Okay folks, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed my short video of Yars Revenge. Thank you very much for watching, it's much appreciated. Now, please remember to like my video, share a comment and better still subscribe. So, until my next video, see you all very soon, bye bye.